You're listening to The Wedding Whisperer with Sarah Burton of Simply Love Studio in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm here today with Bryan Kidd, who is the co-owner of Added Touch. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
So, Bryan, tell me a little bit about what the Added Touch does.
So we are a full-service company offering design, planning, floral, and decor services. We say full service because we can be a one-stop shop for all things pretty and all things planning for our clients.
Perfect. Tell me a little bit about your background in the wedding world.
Sure. So I have actually been working in weddings for the past 18 or so years. During that process, I went to undergrad for interior design. I went to grad school for ministry, but that was another side shoot. But actually, for me, it all fits together because I think it led me to working full-time in weddings, which I love doing now. Like I said, I've been doing this for 18 years with my partner, Lee Pence. She also has been involved in the business that long with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so are most of your weddings here in the Lexington area, or do you travel some?
So Lee and I are based in Richmond, Kentucky. So in the central Kentucky area is where we do most of our work. But we travel out of state for several weddings a year. We are happy to travel. We love to travel. But of course, it's always great to be at home with our other wonderful central Kentucky wedding vendors that are also fabulous.
Okay. Do you think you do more planning or more florals?
That's a good question. It's really different with each client. We work specifically to figure out what services are going to best suit our client. Some of them, that is full service planning. Some of that's day of coordinating. Some of that is only florals or decor. So whatever the client needs. Saying all of that, I will say that about 75% of our clients use us for florals or decor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the other 25% or so, we work with planning in some form or fashion on their wedding day.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So do you have a favorite flower like that you work with or that you just love?
Oh, that is a hard question. It's like choosing your favorite child. I can't say that I do have a favorite flower.
Okay.
I think it goes in and out of seasons with trends.
Okay.
Sometimes because of certain trends, you get tired of a certain flower very quickly.
Yep.
Right now, I think my favorite flower is the anemone, which I'm sure you know of. They come in some beautiful, vibrant colors. They're a very classic flower in the white and blue or black category. They're very popular right now, and I think rightfully so because they're a strong flower. They're very stunning.
They are.
Yeah.
And so you talked about that being like a little bit of a trend right now. What are some trends that you're seeing for this year in Central Kentucky?
I recently found out that the trend is moving in the direction of a really, what I think is pretty still blue and white, sort of classic, timeless vibe. I use those words because those are words that clients come to us and say, I want this classic or timeless look. And those are the colors that they're mentioning, which I did not expect as we started the year. But we're seeing a lot of light blues accented with navies and gold. Gold has been around for several years now, and I love gold myself, so I'm happy with that. But a lot of our clients are looking for those still blues, light blues to incorporate on their wedding day.
And I really like being able to add in the gold or silver. You could add in the Chiavari chairs that go with that and just really kind of complete the look.
Absolutely, yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted us to talk a little bit about today that you offer that a lot of other florists don't offer in our area is that you can incorporate artificial flowers.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize that until one of your bridal show booths. I think it was last year that I was complimenting on, and you're like, oh, some of those are artificial. And I was completely floored by that. I had no idea. Everything looked completely real and fresh to me. So I was really impressed at how you incorporated those. So tell me a little bit about how you do that.
Well, first, thank you for the compliment. We're glad that we fooled you and tricked you, so that's great.
Yes, you did.
Just as surprised as you were to find that out, our clients are often surprised when we meet with them and offer the option of silk flowers. We use the term silk flower, artificial flower, forever flower interchangeably. You might see it printed one way or in conversation hear it one way. It all means the same thing. It means fake, artificial. Because I think artificial flowers have a bad reputation.
I agree with that.
Yes, rightfully so. We're not talking about the Dollar Tree flowers that your grandma might choose to select and put in their flower pots in the summer. That's not the vibe we're talking about here. We pride ourselves in looking for really unique, well-designed custom flowers that represent real flowers in a great way. Incorporating silk flowers in a way that is not obvious that they're fake.
And I do think that they have a bad rap. And I think that's just because a lot of DIYers use them for so long. Like, I had never really seen them professionally done up close like that for a wedding. So, and I didn't realize that, that people could do them that well, which it makes sense because you see florists with a standalone shop all the time doing artificial flowers. So one of the benefits to that is allergies. It is Kentucky. A lot of people here do have random allergies. I do have couples come to me, sometimes mom or whoever will have an allergy and they literally just can't have fresh flowers. And I know that's one situation that a bride will look into having that, but also it can help with the cost, can't it?
Absolutely. Touching on the allergy point right quick, we are working with a couple clients right now who came to us specifically for that reason. They wanted these beautiful flowers, specifically eucalyptus and some other greenery elements that they really love. Those can really trigger some allergies sometimes. So for sure that reason, but as well as the cost factor for sure. If you have purchased a floral arrangement from a florist recently or got a quote on flowers for your wedding or event, we all know that flowers can add up very quickly. Rightfully so, because it takes a long time for them to grow and for them to be shipped. So all those costs make sense. But that can quickly eat up a big chunk of your overall budget. But with silk flowers, we actually keep those flowers at the end of the event. So clients can come to us and we talk about all the pretty things and how we can create a custom floral package for you that suits your theme and your design. And you have those flowers for your day. And at the end of the event, we come back and take those flowers back if they are artificial flowers. So you're renting those flowers.
Okay.
Versus the price of fresh flowers, of course. You're purchasing them for your day. You get to choose what you like to do with them afterwards. So you're saving a purchase price versus a rental price in that way.
And talking about rentals, I know that you all have a lot of rentals that couples use as well, as far as candles and runners. And tell me a little bit about what rental options you do have.
Sure. We have, like I said, lots of pretty things to make your wedding day the style, incorporate elements that you have seen that you like, including centerpieces, backdrops, lights, drapery, all kinds of pretty things.
Literally everything.
We do, yeah. We don't do large rentals like tents, furniture, that kind of stuff. We can bring all the pretty things in on top of that layer to kind of finalize and finesse the look that you're going for.
And you just recently got married, so you know what it's like to have to try and be cautious of the budget and what you're spending.
Absolutely. Yeah. Speaking about our wedding, I and my husband, we both love flowers. So we had flowers everywhere. But we incorporated a lot of silk flowers in our day, which people were surprised about. They thought that we would do all fresh flowers because we do love flowers so much. But we were confident in the look of the silk and artificial flowers, so we went that route ourselves.
Yep, and couples can see your wedding in the newest issue of Bridal Bliss magazine to see some of your flowers.
Yeah.
So you went with orange for your wedding.
I did.
How did you all land on orange?
Well, let me pause you there. It's not orange. It's blood orange.
Okay.
And peach.
Okay.
So blood orange and peach.
Okay.
We gotta get it correct.
Okay.
Actually, we wanted something lively and bright. Because we have seen so many other color palettes recently, we wanted to do something different and unique. We think that we're different and unique, so we wanted to do something fun. We were also outside on my parents' farm, so because of the space was wide open, you can do something a little more bright and out there, and it's not as overpowering as if you're in a smaller venue or a closed-off venue, for sure.
So did anything in your mind switch? Did you learn anything from planning your own wedding that you can share with your couples and that you'll change going forward?
Great question. Absolutely. So we just got married this past September, which is just a few months ago, and I can already see that I am working with clients differently because of being on this side of the planning process. Even just small things, just the mindset of going into your wedding, you know what it's like, you know what you're thinking about. I think being patient with clients, which I feel like I've always been patient with clients, but planning your own wedding and your own event, so many things you're having to deal with and juggle. It's just allowing time just to process all of that is good and helpful. And trying to make it as fun as possible because I have been through that wedding experience myself and know the stresses that just sneak in. It's worth having fun and it's worth being a moment and a day that you can just remember and reflect on positively.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I didn't mean for this to like turn into about your wedding, but is there anything you would have done different about your wedding or changed?
Like I said, we were doing it on the farm. We wanted this beautiful open air, no tent, no structure, floating tables in the field, which would have been beautiful. But of course, 2 days before, it called for rain, so we had to pivot, which we knew was a possibility.
Yeah.
We've done events in the past, and we knew that was going to be a possibility. But we should have planned for the tent earlier. We got a tent, and it was beautiful. It was great. And actually, knowing that rain or shine, we would have done the tent no matter what. So I think that's a piece that I learned. I would not make a client rent a tent, but I would strongly suggest that they consider that if they're doing an outdoor event. Just being open to possibilities, listening to people who have been through certain situations and circumstances, similar circumstances, and taking all the advice they can give to make the day and the event and the time leading up to your wedding less stressful and more enjoyable.
And I think that's interesting that you say that, because as a planner, I feel like when I did planning, yes, we always talked about it wasn't going to rain, but I feel like we had to know, and in the back of our minds, if the couple didn't have a plan B, we had a plan B.
Right.
And so that kind of shocks me that you we're just going to wait it out.
And because of I knew that there was a possibility. And so we knew that the plan B was like having to figure out last minute, which we had to do.
Yeah.
But it just would have been slightly less panic inducing if we had that tent booked and ready and scheduled before. Yeah.
But I also get now from the couple's perspective, how you just want to take that chance.
Right.
Because it tents are expensive,
yes.
and you have the vision in your mind of what you want it to be. So
yes, and we had a lot of people coming from out of town, so it was a big tent, and that was part of the initial factor was saving on the cost of that.
Yeah.
And just for the record, it did not rain during our wedding day. It rained the morning of and the night of, but even still, the tent was so beneficial because we were able to get tables in and chairs in the day before. It provided great shade. It just overall we would not have changed a thing.
And the grass would have been soaked.
The grass would have been wet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I did not mean to go that far into your wedding, but I'm glad we did. Yeah. So a little bit more about your florals and your planning. Do you have one that you prefer to do over the other, or are they just kind of both equally fun for you and challenging?
I love every aspect of all of it.
Okay.
We take pride in being asked to be involved in someone's wedding day. We think that that's a special request. So we love to get to know our clients, whether we are providing planning services, coordinating services, or if it's just a rental piece for their day. We want to make sure that we're a good fit for them and that we all are on the same page. And I love the process of getting to know clients. I believe you and I have mentioned this before, that we feel like we get to know our clients so well and so intimately, and then the day of it's sometimes sad because you might not always hear from those clients. But so that's a special part of that. But with the interior design background and those elements, I also love anything that's aesthetically involved. So whether that be installations, rentals, creating an overall design, pulling a client's vision and design together, that's always fun too. So yeah, I love it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some venues that you find that you keep going back to?
Oh, my favorite right now, and it's been just a minute since we were there, is Limestone Hall, downtown Lexington.
Yes, I love Limestone.
I love it because it offers just enough interest in the venue itself that you're not having to disguise or hide something that might not be a part of what you want to incorporate on your wedding day. But it also, at the same time, is a blank canvas. And the way that the space is set up is so flexible, and you can do so many things in there. We also work a lot at the gallery in Versailles, which is a unique venue. If you as a client have looked into it, it often requires a room flip, which can be a lot more work, but it's also worth it because it's just a beautiful space to work in.
And anytime there is a room flip involved, I always recommend having a florist and a planner. And ideally, they're the same person, because there are so many logistics involved with that. And coordinating all of those can be tricky. So when it's the same team, it just makes it so much easier.
Yes. Lots of moving parts with the room flip for sure.
Yes.
And going back to the full service planning aspect of our company, because there are a lot of moving aspects in a wedding day, some of our clients find it helpful to kind of do that one-stop shop with us because you have one person that you're dealing with and our one team that we know that we work well with. But that, of course, is not a requirement. We work with lots of other day of coordinators. If we're coordinating, we work with other florists and rental companies. But it can be a benefit for sure to kind of have one point of contact.
And a lot of times it really comes down to availability too,
Right,
and what you have
absolutely.
booked, what other vendors have booked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that, a lot of florists and planners offer both. And it really does come down to what's booked already.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that you aren't the best fit for both. And sometimes you're not the best fit for both,
Yeah.
And that's okay. Your feelings aren't going to get hurt if they book you for flowers or planning and not the other.
Not at all. Yeah, like I said earlier when we first started talking, there are lots of many fabulous wedding professionals in this area, and we're honored to work with
Perfect.
many of them. Yeah.
Is there a venue that you want to work at that you haven't worked at yet?
Oh, man. I am positive there is one, but I cannot think of one right now.
Okay.
I will say I'm always happy to go into a new venue. And of course, if we are working in a new venue and we're doing many decorations or installations, florals, we'll like to stop into that venue beforehand. So whether that be with the client or without the client, just to familiarize our space with that. We always like new spaces, new challenges. Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of times when I hear or when I'm meeting with a couple, they mention that when they're looking for a photographer, that they're like, oh, I want my photographer to have shot there before. I don't think that that's a requirement, in my opinion, because I think sometimes going into something new and fresh gives you a whole different perspective,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. So you just walk into it, and every person that walks in is going to have a different view and take on it.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if a couple is interested in reaching out to you about florals or planning or rentals or any of the things, what is the best way for them to reach out?
So we are on all the social medias.
Okay.
The Added Touch or the
Okay.
_ Added Touch. Our website is addedtouch.net, and you can connect with us on there. When a client does reach out to us, we love to meet them for a cup of coffee or a phone call, a Zoom meeting, just so that we can sit down and, like we said, get to know them a little bit, talk about their vision, their style, what they're looking for that day. And then afterwards, we provide our clients with an itemized estimate so that they can review that and see all the prices separately for what they may be looking for their wedding day. We don't offer prepackaged services because every wedding is so different and unique that it doesn't suit our clients, I don't feel like, to offer packages in that way. And then afterwards, they can select the parts and pieces that suit their vision, their style, the best.
And I think that's really important when it comes to florals, especially in rentals, is being able to pick what does fit your wedding the best and being able to pick those separately. And sometimes as it gets closer to the wedding, you'll want to add things if you've got a little bit of extra money.
Absolutely.
And you have those prices ahead of time and you know that you can add them.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good note as well. Of course, we like to have a game plan as early as possible, but we are flexible up to about 30 days before your event to add, take away, because I know things changes, numbers changes, or even if you've been planning for a year and a half, what you want for your day, the overall vision or style might change completely, and we're happy to be flexible about all those things.
perfect. Well, Bryan, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
For more information about Simply Love Studio or to schedule your wedding consultation, go to simplylovestudio.com.